Does he have headphones?
Yeah, he does.
Three,
yeah, no, he's
two,
listening.
1.
I'm surprised you didn't go with like the fucking Rachel Maddow style, you know?
Which one are those?
I don't know. She's got like, you know, the fucking real thick rimmed ones. Looking like fucking her and Mark Cuban.
Yeah. Did you see her crying about
So
that?
good when Elon's
That Elon. Oh my
fucking
goodness.
buy MSNBC. It's
Oh god,
so
it was
good.
so sweet.
Hey man, it is fucking Christmas time. Fucking Merry almost Christmas, motherfuckers and motherfuckettes.
God, I love Christmas.
I fucking love it.
Yeah. I'm having fun. We put the Christmas tree up yesterday.
We put ours up the day after Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know when you're listening to this, but yesterday was the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. We put it up.
We put it up the same day, yeah. Decorated everything. Did you see all my fucking blow-ups outside?
I did. It was awesome. Good times, man.
I love how now everyone decorates. They just put blow-ups up.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
It's really so easy.
Yeah. The worst part is staking them down, though. But still doesn't take as long as fucking putting up all your Christmas decorations, like outside, like fucking...
Yeah, man. Lights are for the birds.
Well, the way to do is the Govee lights, the ones that stay up all year.
Yeah.
Like the ones that Steve has. Like you put them up, they're all year. And all you do is like the app on the phone, like you can leave them white for like all year round. And then there's fucking holidays. You hit Christmas and they'll fucking flash Christmas colors. They'll flash red, white, and blue for 4th of July. They flash fucking red and orange and like blue for fucking Halloween, purple, whatever.
Yeah.
That's the fucking way to go. I've been meaning to do it, but I mean, they're like $500 for as much as I need to go around the front of the house. Because it's like $250 a strand and I need 2 strands.
Yeah.
But they're fucking worth it.
That's cool, though.
My favorite thing is fucking Steve keeps his rainbow all year. It's like a fucking pride house. He thinks it's the funniest thing ever.
I think the funniest thing ever is him doing these little things on like...
Dude, he
I
had
see
a
him on,
fucking
like,
TikTok
IG.
at 100,000 views, dude.
Yeah, well, I just say he like walks around, he talks about like, and like one of them, he was like talking about like, I don't want to blow him up on here though. That's the problem. Like, I don't want to blow him up and like, cause it's like, it's satire. It seems like
some of it is, yeah.
Cause he's like, I want, you know, I don't, you know, I feel bad for all the guys that thought, you know, that she was going to win. You fucking dumb. like he's trying to be all nice, but he just, I know he's fucking with him because there's no, like, dude,
I'm not sure he is. I don't know.
Harvard had fucking a day. Didn't they have like a day off? Like
A lot of them did.
A lot of them did. And they like had cookies and milk for him and shit. Like the cry parties with a bunch of different Kleenex and stuff. Like, what are we doing, man?
Oh my God.
You want to know how the rest of the world is fucking laughing at us because these fucking clowns are, and they're like talking about it in classes. Like, if you guys want to stay home, we understand. You're upset. I'm like, upset about what? What are you doing to our fucking kids? That's what I want. Like, I don't know what you're doing. You're not doing that shit to my kids. I know that. Because my kids are going to be the ones that are be like, you pussies need to fucking buck up.
Mine be the ones fucking dancing the fucking YMCA Trump dance outside the fucking...
Yeah. When John Jones danced, like, oh, God,
what was funny
so
is like,
good.
what I thought was funny was like, he was like the last one to do it, dude. They like the whole week before, every college touchdown, every NFL touchdown was all that dance.
I know.
It was so good. Anyways,
but he was the first one to do it after he won. Yeah, well, probably not, but I mean, like, it was awesome to see. That whole night was cool. But yeah, Christmas, man,
coming.
I can't really do anything outside the house because there's too many damn trees. Like, no one can see it. You know.
Yesterday was like the first time that I allowed Christmas music to be played and Christmas movies, because I think it's fucking ridiculous that the day after Halloween now everyone just starts watching Christmas movies and putting up their tree. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Crazy.
You're taking away Thanksgiving.
Put up Courtney's tree the day of Thanksgiving, like after.
Yeah, that's fine.
We got back from Thanksgiving.
The second I finish as soon as my dessert plate is clean on Thanksgiving, you can start doing Christmas stuff. Yesterday, though, so we started it up. We had to go to the grocery store, do our grocery shopping, put all our Christmas decorations up inside and out. And yesterday alone, I watched Christmas Vacation, The Grinch, Santa Claus, and Christmas with the Cranks.
We watched Christmas Vacation at Courtney's house that night. And then they, like, halfway through, they wanted to watch some fucking gay Hallmark Christmas movie.
Gay?
I'm like, oh, God. So I checked out on that one. And then yesterday, me and the kids put up the tree, and we watched. I started with Christmas Chronicles,
Good one.
the first one, which is good. I haven't watched the second one.
I heard it's good. I didn't watch that one either.
Yeah. So, and then somehow Netflix was like, do you want to watch? Oh no, yeah. Do you want to watch Twisters? And I'm like, yep. So then, because Maddie's like super into like tornadoes and stuff. She's fucking 6. Anyway, so we watched Twisters, and then after that, it was like, do you want to watch The Day After Tomorrow? I'm like, yep. So we watched that.
Such a great movie.
And then Courtney,
There's snow in it. Might as well be Christmas.
Yeah. And then Courtney came over while we were still watching that, and she's like, I really like that one that The Rock's in.
Oh,
and I'm like, San Andreas. I'm like, cool. So we watched that. It was all right. I mean, it's
ridiculous.
It's what it is, though. I mean, it's just like,
guess.
you know. And then after that, we watched.
Remember when you rode the inflatable up the tsunami?
Yeah. And then we bookended it with Greenland.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and so I was up in the air because 100% tonight I'm watching 2012 because that's one of my favorites.
2012 is one of the best movies.
Yeah,
End of the world movies.
Dude, it's got John Cusack in it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he sucks as a person, but a great actor.
Yeah, great actor. And Woody Harrelson, just a fucking weirded out dude at Yellowstone's perfect.
Yeah, it's great. And fucking, oh my God, why can't I think of his name now? Oh my God. Oliver Platt.
Oliver Platt, you're right.
You don't fucking see enough of that genius. That guy's amazing.
Yeah, he's a gem.
Lake fucking Placid. What?
Oh my God. Such a great movie.
Oh God.
I keep going with this because after that I was thinking definitely want to watch 2012. And then
Greenland's good.
Greenland was good. You know what? I had realized that I hadn't watched that whole movie. I hadn't seen, but
the
maybe
whole lottery thing was a cool take.
I saw the middle portion of it.
Deep Impact too, right? It was a lottery on Deep Impact.
Oh yeah. So then she's like, we should watch Armageddon. I'm like, you're right, we should.
Well, Armageddon is the end all be all of End of the World movies, I think.
Yeah.
There's
absolutely.
no better movie.
Right.
I don't think.
Remember when that and Deep Impact came out almost the same time?
Yeah.
We talked about
same
that
thing with
podcast.
Wyatt Earp and Tombstone.
That's true, which was weird because Wyatt Earp was not even
good movie, but
close.
Tombstone comes out and just blows
oh man,
the water.
Absolutely. Have you watched Landman yet?
Landman? Mm-hmm. No.
You need to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the next Taylor Sheridan one.
Oh, okay.
So Yellowstone came out the same day Yellowstone's new season came out.
Yeah.
Landman came out.
Did I tell you?
It's got Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah,
he's the main guy.
Oh, I did see that go by. He's like an oil guy?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's all about Texas oil.
Oh, that's cool.
Dude.
I'm into that.
So it's
Billy Bob
about
Thornton.
the patch, which is a huge...
yeah.
Dude. Unfucking real, man.
The fucking...
Unreal. Have you seen Lioness by any chance?
No.
Also Taylor Sheridan, about the CIA, the Lioness program, which is a real thing. That's fucking fantastic. It's in second season.
He's going to be doing a season... he's doing Empire of the Summer Moon.
Who is?
Taylor Sheridan.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's in the making of it.
Dude, that guy might be one of the greatest film producers of all time. Well, I mean, it's shows, but Jesus, dude, everything he does is just like.
When I heard that he was doing it, I went and re-listened to Empire of the Summer Moon for the third time.
Yeah. Man, yeah, he has some the way that he does things. I mean, I don't know if you ever did watch Mayor of Kingstown.
No.
Yeah. So that's about prison. It's Detroit, or not. It's outside of Detroit. It's in Michigan. It's also a real place. It's also an area where there's just a bunch of prisons, and it's just kind of rundown area. It's got fucking what's his face? He got ran over by his own fucking snow.
Oh yeah, fucking Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. Yeah, that's a great show. That's season 3 or 4. It's fucking awesome. If you it's one of the best depictions of prison.
Oh, okay.
In how it works on the street.
Yeah.
And how things happen on the street because of prison because of the street kind of situation. That whole thing. It's very interesting. It's a good show.
Interesting.
Anyway, yeah, Landman. Fuck.
I'll have to watch that. I like Billy Bob.
I tried to get into Christmas movies. Like, I mean, Elf's always a solid one. You got to watch that every year.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that on when we go back downstairs.
Yeah.
I have like a lineup that has to happen.
Yeah, I know you do. You're very on top. I'm not. Like if I watch a certain, like, there's only a certain amount I can take, I guess. Yeah. Christmas with the Cranks is great.
Christmas with the Cranks.
By the way,
so
Tim Allen's got a new one coming out. He's got a new show
Christmas
coming
movie?
out. No, a new show. It's called
oh yeah, I saw that.
God, what is it called? It's called
I saw that.
Something Gears or something. It's a sitcom.
Ben Stiller just released a new Christmas movie this year called Nutcracker.
Really?
Supposed to be a comedy. Just came out.
Shifting Gears. That's what that
Shifting
one.
Gears.
I'm gonna watch it. I mean, he's always been great. Like Tim Allen's always been fantastic.
I mean,
he got pulled off the fucking.
How wild is it that he's in two of the best Christmas movies too?
I know.
Christmas with the Cranks and Santa Claus.
Awesome. Waiting on a new Santa Claus.
They put one out last year, didn't they?
I thought it was 2 years ago. Maybe you're right. You could be.
Oh no, they put out a show last year.
Yeah, that's right, on Netflix.
It was a show. Yeah,
that was actually really good.
It was good.
Too. Yeah,
all the Santa Claus movies are good. To be honest.
Yeah. So yeah, he.
Christmas with the Cranks is probably one of the most underrated Christmas movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That movie, and you got fucking Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
The fuck out of here.
Yeah. Fantastic.
What about Fred Claus? Vince Vaughn.
One of my favorite diatribes.
Pregnant child.
that scene right there.
2 minutes of the movie.
That scene right there. That guy is.
What do you need TV for? You're rotting your brain.
He is just out of pocket when he when he goes into those things. It's just like there is no way they write
His
those.
Interaction.
Is there any way that they? There's no way.
No.
Because the other one that I thought was hilarious was that movie Bad Girls or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That one. The one where the dude's in the car and he shits his pants.
Yes,
and he's like, most people just get out and they go shit in the bushes. I don't care what you do. Just get out of here. That whole thing is like 2 minutes of just vintage Vince Vaughn.
Fred Claus has got a good one. What the fuck?
Oh, I want to see Red One. I gotta see.
Me too.
I want to see that movie so bad.
It looks really great.
It looks fantastic.
Looks great.
Dude, it's such a great premise too. And
yeah.
I mean, everybody in it's awesome. I mean, it's cool.
I always forget the dude's playing Santa Claus. I always forget his name from the Progressive commercial.
Or
Farmers.
Fucking fantastic.
I love that dude.
He plays nothing but banger roles.
I know.
And he does
I love how condescending he always is.
Great.
It's my favorite.
Fucking great. But he does like so many different. You know who he reminds me of? Paul Giamatti.
I like Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti, also in San Andreas. Great movie.
Did you ever see that movie Sideways?
Of course I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Big Fat Liar?
Yeah.
Played Marty Wolf.
Yeah. Did you ever see Billions?
Billions?
It was on. It's a show. It was a show on I think it was Cinemax. He plays a district attorney. No, he plays the U.S. district attorney.
I remember the show, but I never watched it.
That fucking show is incredible, man. And apparently still going. But he's a main. What was he? Is Sideways the one?
They go up to fucking solving.
Yeah, that's the. No.
They go up solving wine tasting.
Yeah, I thought he went to Wine Country though.
Yeah,
it was him and that guy from Wings.
Yeah, they go up to. They go up to.
That was like
where they filmed it was Solving. They go to Wine Country.
Yeah.
But they're in San Ynez, and Solving is where they're at. Yeah, because they ate fucking dinner at the
dude. We're all over the place.
Yeah, it's
great show. That was one of those indie movies that blew up.
Off, yeah,
that was one of those things where like it bridged the gap between like indie films and like big movies. That was crazy.
Movie hit big too.
How about Josh Brolin growing up in fucking your neck of the woods? I had no idea.
Yeah, his
born in Paso Robles.
Yeah, his
fuck.
His goddaughters went to my school. Don't you remember me telling you this?
I don't.
Okay, so
they still have a farm there. He still has a ranch there, right?
But dude, okay. No Country for Old Men.
Yes.
He's walking back into the United States from Mexico across the bridge, and he passes those kids, and he buys a jacket off of them. Mm-hmm. He puts the jacket on, turns around, and walks a Templeton Eagles jacket.
Well, they probably filmed it there. They probably filmed it right there.
Well, he bought because his daughters, I think it's his goddaughters went there.
Yeah, I'm just saying. They probably filmed it in Paso or somewhere near there.
Looks like
all of that shit looks like, Santa Clarita.
That's why.
Like Santa Clarita and that whole area.
Yeah.
They filmed all those.
That's why he has a Templeton Eagles jacket, because his daughters.
That's awesome.
I don't know if his daughters or goddaughters. I think it might have been goddaughters. I'm not sure.
No Country for Old Men.
It's a fantastic movie.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Not a fucking clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he moved to like Santa Barbara and he hated it. He was in jail a bunch. He said.
Yeah. It was a good podcast.
It was decent.
He's a weird dude.
Okay. He comes off like I couldn't tell if it was just like him or at first he came off like really like almost not like the way he talked was like really uppity, but not like I only drink Vaughn or Voss water or whatever. Like it's weird.
He's a weird dude.
He's flat out from fucking SoCal. I mean, like that area, 100%.
Okay, so this is gonna sound stupid, but because I don't have / don't remember is really what it is. All the information. So his either daughters or goddaughters went to they were in middle school when I was in high school.
Gotcha.
I went to high school with a girl who somehow was also connected to the goddaughters or him. It was like she was the goddaughter's cousins or something. She was cousins with his goddaughters. So she had spent some time around him. And I remember her telling me like when she told me that, and she was telling me like he's kind of a laid back. So I think the way she described it was like that he was like, he's an acting type, like drama. He's kind of like an odd dude.
Like a little, like kind of
different,
pretty out
man.
there.
Just like, like kind of out there, yeah.
But like, I mean, that time, like that time frame was like the time frame where him and his wife were like fighting. He was drinking a bunch and doing a shitload of coke.
Yeah, sure.
Because it was like that time of the year or that time frame in Hollywood. Yeah. So I think a lot's changed now, obviously, because he's pretty fucking laid back now. He always probably was, but I mean, he's really fucking laid back. Like he just kind of goes where the wind tells him to go because that's what the wind god told him to do, or the wind god of whatever. And that's kind of how he is, though.
Yeah, it's a strange dude.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just fucking interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah,
not a fucking clue. But
there's a couple like pretty famous people that are from that area.
Well, I mean,
like
a lot
Tim
of
Kennedy's
people
from that area. He's fucking grew up in Tascadero,
right? And I mean, the late great Alex Trebek had probably the dopest ranch I'd ever seen out there.
Sickest horse ranch ever.
That place was beautiful.
Yeah, he lived, and then he lived at Nacimiento. He had a huge house on the lake there.
So I mean, that's a cool place to be. It's definitely the nice part about
Brad
that
Pitt
is like
and Jennifer Aniston had a fucking house there too.
Yeah.
At one point when they were married.
I mean, it's a great place to be.
Lou Ferrigno lives there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he still does, but he lived right there. Do you remember? I think I pointed it out to you. Like when you're driving, you almost hit the ocean. There's that fucking house that kind of looked like a castle. It had like ramparts. That was Lou Ferrigno's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it had he had a statue out front, like he does in every fucking house he has, apparently.
I met a guy the other day that worked at Diablo Canyon.
Interesting.
And has been out of it for a while, but he retired, and then they hired him back to bounce to do shutdowns.
That's what my uncle did.
And I'm like, I was trying to fucking remember your uncle's name because I'm like, dude, I bet you know this guy. Like,
was
maybe
that dude from Sweetwater?
Who?
That you met?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. His name is Mike. I can't remember his last name. Not that I would say it on here anyway.
Man, I was in Rural King in Sweetwater like 2 years ago. I think it was before we bought this house. It was when I bought Emily's Glock. And we were there and standing in line, and I had some type of attire on that said I was from California. And I'm like, and this guy's talking to me. And he's like, oh, I'm from California too. And I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, I'm from, like Central Coast. He's like, oh, me too. And he's like, and I was like, oh, I'm from Paso. And he's like, oh, I'm from Shell Beach. And I'm like, no kidding. He's like, yeah, we're Diablo Canyon. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, you probably know my uncle. And he's like, what's your uncle's name? And I told him, and he's like, yeah, he lives here in Sweetwater too. And I'm like, what the fuck?
It's a weird thing.
It's so weird.
This guy's older. He's in his
this guy was older too.
Probably 60, mid 60s, right? He had like a Winnebago. He stayed out in Shell Beach.
Yeah.
When he was there or whatever.
A lot of people did that.
But I think he said he was there for like 6 months on like a shutdown type of situation.
Yeah, the long ones are the steam generator replacements. Yeah.
So like, I'm like, I guarantee. I was like, man, can almost guarantee
100%.
my buddy's uncle.
100%.
Guaranteed. Because, like, I'd imagine that's a fairly tight-knit group.
I mean, there's a lot of people there, but the thing is, like, if you work there, my uncle because he was in charge of the rad department, which was radiation detection.
Right. So, I don't know. It was very interesting. I don't know. I'm sure I'll probably see him again. Just family functions, that sort of thing. Who knows? But
yeah,
I'll bring him up next time.
Yeah, because he would do like the radiation detection and prevention or whatever it was. So, like he was like if something happened, he was the first call. Like if something was leaking or something was doing something it wasn't supposed to. So he was the one that gave all the classes every year, like they had to go to. He did that.
Right. I gotcha.
So
yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, again, like he worked at I think the last time he worked he was at Sequoia. And then, he bounced around all of them.
Yeah, a lot of people do. There's a lot of people that literally just work the outages.
Yeah, well, and that's what he did for 15 years. So he retired at like 50, like right around 52 or something like that. And then for like the next 15 years, he worked just outages.
Dude, it was crazy. Like I knew people through my uncle that like, because you could go and work one outage and be okay for the year. Like if you lived somewhere that was cheaper, and then some people would go and work them, 4 or 5 a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you get on the steam generator replacements and those are like up to a year long. They could be even longer depending. If like I know the one my mom worked, I think it was 18 months almost because they did all of them. That's some wild shit, man.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I was telling him like I have a friend that works at Diablo still, But he's on one of the pseudo teams or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was just interesting. I mean, of all things, because he heard me bring up like someone had asked me what I did or where I came from or whatever it was, and I told him what I did and stuff. And like, he's like, "Oh, you're from that area?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, might as well have been." Yeah. Yeah. When I don't know if you like me, like if someone asks me where I'm from or whatever, and I say Southern California, like. It's one of those things where it's like, it's
Southern California is a big place.
But if I mention like I worked in the Central Valley, like near Paso, oh yeah, I've heard of Paso. Or then you got guys like that. They're like, oh shit, I've been there. Like I worked down the road, Diablo Can. I'm like, oh, Diablo. He's like, I work nuclear facility out there. I'm like, Diablo? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, there's only one, bro. Like I know. Yeah. I mean, and it's named after the devil. So I mean, it's like, you figure it out. Yeah. But yeah, it was cool.
That is cool.
That's also where I learned about the whole government worker that worked 2 days a week. Not him, obviously. But someone else. It was very.
I had something that. What the fuck is going on?
Oh yeah, we can look at our stuff.
Sorry, lull in the action here. I had something that I took a screenshot of the other day, yesterday, because I think it's worked for. I'm just going to tell you the name. I'm going to give you the title of this. Excuse me. I'm going to give you the title of this fucking. I am just lost. Article. Okay. Jesus Christ, man.
Okay.
The air quotes suicide pod claims its first victim, delighting its inventor.
Suicide pod.
Yep. Yep. That's what I said. Right.
Yeah.
The American woman, who has yet to be identified, was 64 years old. This photograph shows a view of the Sarco-assisted suicide capsule during a press conference organized by the Last Resort, a Swiss human rights nonprofit association focused on assisted suicide in Zurich on July 17, 2024. Looks like that.
Oh. Okay.
So upon some digging, because, you had me.
Yeah, you had me at hello.
You had me at fucking suicide pod. Now let me tell you, you Google suicide pod, it really wants you to call the suicide hotline.
Yeah, I bet.
Help is available is what it says, which I can appreciate it. So look at this. So what happens is you get in it. Oh my God, I wish I could find the fucking, you get in it. And what it does is it replaces all the air in it with nitrogen. So you suffocate, essentially. You pass out and die.
That's a fucked up way to die, man.
You would think, yeah. Okay, the capsule works by filling with nitrogen, leading to painless, rapid unconsciousness and eventual death.
That's not at all painless, though, is it? I mean, you're gasping for air before you pass out, no?
Okay, yeah. But, okay, this
Maybe
the best
I'm wrong.
part was... I got to try to find the article I was reading because it is...
Who built this machine of death?
Some dude in Switzerland.
Oh, of course.
There it is. How weird is that? I don't know if you guys can see that, but look it up. It's interesting.
We'd put it on our social media, but we don't really give a shit about our social media.
The first recorded case of... I want to get to the part where it said... pain-free death, blah, 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 blah. Dr. Florian Willett, president of the Swiss Assisted Dying Organization, The Last Resort, was reportedly
Dying organization.
Was the only person present at the time and remains in custody. I'm going to tell you why. So in the inside, what I'm trying to find is there's a button that starts it. That's like, and it was like, dude, it was so fucking ominous. It was like, push here to die is what the button said or something like that. Like really ridiculous. But let me just read this article real quick. This is on, so let me quote it so I don't get plagiarized or anything. Business Standard. The first recorded case of woman using the controversial Sarco suicide pod in Switzerland has ignited intense scrutiny and speculation following unexpected findings. You ready for this, Paul? Yes. An autopsy report uncovered strangulation marks on the 64-year-old woman's neck, raising the disturbing question about her cause of death and prompting Swiss authorities to explore the possibility of intentional homicide, according to the Dutch newspaper. The woman, whose identity remains undisclosed, passed away on September 23rd in a remote forest near Meerhausen, a secluded village close to the German border. Designed by Dr. Philip Nitschke, founder of Exit International, the sarcopod was intended to allow peaceful and controlled end-of-life experience for terminally ill patients. Users activated the pod by pressing an internal button, releasing nitrogen gas, which reportedly induces calm, pain-free death within minutes. However, what should have been a serene process has turned into a mystery as Swiss authorities investigate. Dr. Florian Willett, president of the Swiss Assisted Dying Organization, The Last Resort, was reported the only person present at the time and remains in custody as officials probe the circumstances surrounding her death. Swiss Chief Prosecutor Peter Steicher, leading the investigation, has indicated that the incident may not have been straightforward as intended, hinting at a potential malfunction or interference. So basically what he's saying is that fucking pod didn't work, and he went in there and strangled that bitch to death. What? Can you imagine getting...
What do you mean malfunction? Like
it didn't kill her?
It didn't kill her, so he went in and like accidentally strangled her. Like he meant to grab her and pull her out.
I think what was accidental was it not working.
Yeah.
And then he was like, fuck, well, she wants to die anyways.
Yeah, let me crush your larynx.
I mean, what the fuck? Well, we were talking about the fucking assisted suicide in Canada, remember? We gave those numbers, right?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
How many people have died by assisted... gastric bypass.
Let me ask this question.
Go ahead.
Just to the folks, you and the folks at home. Is assisted suicide an oxymoron?
Yep. You're helping someone kill themselves. I guess. I mean,
you're an accessory after the fact, you fuck. Like, what do you mean?
So listen to this. As of November 2024, that's right now, 44,958 people have died by medically assisted dying in Canada since the legislation was introduced in 2016. 8 years, 44,000 people. 45,000 people.
Yes,
in 2022, 13,241 people died, which was 4.1% of all deaths in Canada. This number was a 31.2% increase from 2021. The average age of people who died by assisted suicide was 77. The most common underlying medical condition for those who died in 2022 were cancer, cardiovascular, and other. Cancer was 63%, cardiovascular 18%, other. What's the other? Like, I understand the average age was 2022 was 77, but what was the far one down there though?
Yeah.
19.
What brought the average down?
Yeah.
Is what I want to know. I got all kinds of questions, mostly, rhetorical to the point where we probably aren't going to get those answers, but we can talk about it. So Assisted suicide, not a thing. You either killing somebody or they kill themselves. One of the two. That's number one. Number two, I'm very curious to know, especially in Canada, because here it's still illegal, right?
Yeah, you can't do it here.
Okay. So I'm very curious if they include those numbers in their suicide rate. If they call it assisted suicide. I'm very curious.
Well, now I'm curious.
Because
hey, Google.
Gun deaths in this country also include, like, they say gun violence
includes suicide
by firearm. It also includes police shootings.
Yeah.
Which is not okay. So 2 out of those 3, like, the other is obviously just like actual straight up
gun violence.
So two of those, in my opinion, is not gun violence.
Well, also they also include self-defense via firearm,
right?
Which is essentially 99.9% of what police shootings are.
Yes.
So any type of self-defense via firearm is, I don't think, gun violence.
No. Now, if the other person's shooting at the
lawful
cops,
gun violence, I don't think,
that's a weird
lawful gun use, taking someone's life is not gun violence. I don't think.
Right.
And I don't think it is gun violence, but it's not in a statistic that should be in a category of being like.
Okay. Well, hold on. You're looking at your thing. I'm going to look up something too.
Do they include assisted suicide in suicide numbers per year? Where is this for assisted suicide? Do assisted suicide increase suicide rates? Here we go. Legalizing personal assisted suicide has been associated with an increased rate of total suicide relative to the other states. Okay, so yes, they do. Well, here's a good question. Is assisted suicide legal in the United States? 9 states and the District of Columbia have legalized assisted suicide. Oh, yeah, this is from the Catholic News Agency. They're all over this shit because they are not about that.
Violence by definition.
Go ahead.
Behavior involving physical force intended to hurt, damage, or kill someone or something. That's violence via the dictionary. So,
but yeah, by definition, it is gun violence.
You're not killing somebody in suicide, you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm not sure we're using violence in the term in the proper form.
Yeah.
And I understand, and I completely understand why they're doing it. Because it's a scare tactic. It's a oh shit thing. It's a fuck. That's crazy. Obviously, if it bleeds, it leads. It's been like that for 100 fucking years. I get it.
I want to know what 9 states allow assisted suicide.
But
which states in the United States is assisted suicide legal?
I think that.
Do you want to jump off and guess a couple?
Yeah, that's actually a good one. That's a good thing to Utah.
No, I'm fucking Mormon, dude. No.
Yeah, well, I mean, you never know. Florida?
No.
Wow. Washington.
Hold on. Before you go about this, none of them are red states. Not one. Not one is a red state.
Colorado.
Yep.
Washington.
Yes.
Oregon?
Yes.
California, no.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
DC, we already told you.
Okay.
One of them is a red state. It has an asterisk, which is interesting. I'm gonna fire them off. Ready? California, Colorado, DC, Hawaii, Maine, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Vermont, Washington, and Montana.
Montana's not blue.
I know, that's why I said one of them is a red state. But Montana has an asterisk. So let's go Montana assisted suicide.
Only in the state capital. Which is
only
red.
In Bozeman.
Only in Bozeman. It's red there.
Help is available. Yeah, I get it, man. 88% of voters opposed the Physician Imprisonment Act. Okay, I don't know what that means. Medical aid in dying was authorized in Montana when the state Supreme Court found in 2009 the Rights of the Terminally Ill Act clearly provides that terminally ill patients are entitled to autonomous end-of-life decisions. So this is one of those things where they interpreted a law to allow that.
Because shooting yourself in the head is the exact same as a fucking DNR. God, man. People take some real fucking flyers on some of these laws.
I mean,
man.
we are reaching.
Yeah.
We are like Stretch Armstrong reaching. I mean, okay, but like, okay, we've never talked about this. Like, how do you feel about assisted suicide? Because I am really fucking, I don't know how I feel about it.
I think that the lines get blurry.
It's fucking blurry as shit, man.
So I've got an anecdotal story, I guess. That if you want to fucking Stretch Armstrong it like these fucking fine folks did, could be considered that, right? So my grandma and my grandpa were both on, both getting chemo at the same time, right? Grandma had breast cancer, grandpa had pancreatic cancer. After a year of his went longer than hers. She's, completely fine in 93 and just trucking,
Yeah.
Now, my grandpa died in 2008. So I would say in 2007, I remember having a conversation with him and he said, I'm not doing this anymore. This is fucking crazy. It's killing me.
Yeah.
And he felt that it was killing him faster than pancreatic cancer, which he was right, because the pancreatic cancer he had for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it never really did anything. They found it super early. They couldn't get it. It was attached to a couple other organs that were very close to the pancreas. So they just, originally went in to take it out and then realized that it was attached. They didn't want to metastasize. They didn't have the same kind of technologies they do now.
Sure.
So they left it knowing that it was very slow growing.
Yeah.
It hadn't changed and, size-wise for a very long time. And then obviously as he got older, it got a little bit more aggressive.
Same thing happened with my grandpa.
Yeah. As it happens. I mean, it's just like your body continuously breaks down as you age, and it gets harder and harder to fight things off, and that's what happens. So anyway, I remember the conversation. I remember him saying, like, I can't do this anymore because it just makes me so sick, and I feel like, and his thought process was, if I'm dying anyway, I would much rather go out comfortable somewhat.
And I think most people that I know that die of cancer and are going through chemo and radiation, most people at some point just say, I'm done with this.
I'm fucking over it.
I'm not going to spend 8 months sick when I could spend 5 months feeling fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you could, so if you had 8 months to live, if you could get, and it didn't matter whether you had any of that shit, right? You would spend that entire time sick as fuck because of chemo and radiation, or maybe half that time.
That's what I just said.
Right. Without it, and having at least half of that time as you're feeling pretty good, or you're feeling like
might be weak, but you're not sick.
Right. And I think 100% of people are taking that.
I've never met someone that died of cancer that didn't choose to stop doing chemo at some point.
Yeah.
They were like, once they figured out like it wasn't curing it, like it might be slowing it down, but it's not curing it.
Super interesting to me is like, seems to happen with everybody I've known that have had, been terminally ill, right? At some point they mentally are just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm 100%.
Good now. Every person I've ever known.
And it is unbelievable.
That is a weird fucking thing.
Unbelievable to me how quickly they died after that. They made that decision in their head.
That is an intense thing, man. Like I've seen it a few times.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, I know, me too.
And I've seen it with my own eyes with
it is a weird, and
handful.
you can, they're like, they say it and like, you think like the first time I ever saw it, you're like, they say that and you're like, oh, this is just something that people would say, but then you can see it
right
in their face.
A calmness.
Like it's
just like they just let it go.
Yeah.
Like it's coming.
And it's quick after that.
Fuck it.
It's always quick.
Bring it.
Yeah.
But
that's weird, man.
That's as close to God as I've ever been.
Yeah.
Probably. Mm-hmm. Just I say that like, I mean,
I know what you mean.
If he's about mercy, if that whole thing, if all that exists, which we don't need to get into that, but I mean, I really do feel like, they fight, you fight.
Yeah.
You're going to fight. Mm-hmm. And then there's that time where you're like, you know what? Like, I think I'm good. Like I've made that push. I've had that fight.
Yeah.
I've seen what I can do, type of thing. And maybe at that point you're just like, you know what, I'm good with this. Like it's probably time. And I've always thought that like the family, and I will say that I saw this happen. Like I always had felt since I saw it that the family was being like, what's the fucking word? Like they wanted to keep them around.
Yeah. Right.
And those reasons, that's a shitty reason,
Selfish.
There it is. Like they were being very selfish and you never see that person be selfish.
Yeah.
That person is the opposite of that. Like
Yeah.
they are taking everything in as it comes. They're accepting all these things, but also like they're kind of like checking all these things off their list, right? Whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is. But like, dude, it's always been so fascinating to me, like seeing it, because dude, it's quick,
weird,
man. And it's a mental. If you guys don't think that your mental situation, like whatever you're in, if you don't think that has something to do with your health, you are out of your fucking mind. Your physical health, because it's a fucking switch, dude.
It's weird.
I mean, a switch. I'm talking like, I remember my uncle when he was like, that's a wrap. He wanted to be at my other uncle's wedding. He wanted to be there. And that he told me that. He's like, if I get there, I'm good.
Yeah.
And a week later he died.
Yeah.
And it was
weird, man. When my grandma was dying, she was living with my mom in Arizona. Mm-hmm. And my mom called me and she's like, you need to come out here. So me and Emily fucking hop on a plane.
Right.
Boom, we're out. We get there and she's like, she has hospice care, but like she's sitting up talking. Like I can talk to her, have a conversation. It's fine. And she's asking, she's like, who all is coming? And we'd be like, look, Tamara's flying in tonight. Daniel's flying in early in the morning. Like I've told her, I'm picking up Daniel at 3 a.m. Tamara's going to be here at 8. And then like 2 other people were sure like driving in that day. And she was like, okay. And like everyone got here. Like I picked up the last person at 3 a.m. that night, brought him home. And like, and she was like, that's everybody? We're like, yep. And then it was like, she talked with Daniel that night and then she never, she was alive, but she went to sleep and she was just comatose after that. Like she like held on to like make sure everyone saw her. Like she saw everybody.
Yeah. My grandma did the same thing.
So weird, man.
I remember, of all things, I had to go to Tucson, Arizona.
That's where I was.
I know. It's kind of weird. Like, I mean, because we're talking 2008. This was what,
2019?
Yeah, almost 11 years later. Anyway, I had to go there for a show, selling motorhomes. So.
Oh yeah, big RV down there.
Oh yeah, huge. And so, before I left, he was getting to the point where he was like, he stopped. Well, he was not eating very much, you know, and they had hospice there, you know, at the house or whatever. And I remember going over, and this was on like a Monday, or it was on a Sunday because I flew out Monday, or drove out actually. So on Sunday I went over there and we were hanging out, and he could talk, but it wasn't like great. And like everybody had made their kind of like their rounds and come over and seen him and stuff like that. Me and him always had a different relationship. Like he raised me, like my mom and him, my grandma, they raised me. He taught me how to throw my first pitch, did all that stuff, all the things that, you know, your dad might do if you had a dad that was around. Sorry, buddy. Anyway, so I went over there that night. I go, look, dude, I go, I'm going to Tucson for a week. And we had this whole conversation, right? And at the end, I was like, you can go. Like, you're good.
Yeah.
Everybody's here, man. Everybody's seen you, and you've left, like, this thing in really good working condition.
Right.
Like, you're good, right? Don't give these girls any shit. I'm leaving. Yeah. Like, just, you know. And so... whole week goes by. My mom's giving me updates, which obviously aren't good. She calls me on Thursday night and says, he's not going to live through the night. I'm like, okay. Well, put the phone up to his ear. Give me 30 seconds, and you can call me back if you want.
Yeah.
So, you know, said what I needed to say, and that was a wrap. I got on the very first flight I could in the morning because I couldn't fly out that night. That son of a bitch stayed alive. I flew out. I mean, I fucking touched down in Ontario at like 6:15, right? I was out really early.
Yeah.
Had Jeremy drive me directly there, basically. And then he was in bed at that point. I mean, he was, by all accounts, gone.
Yeah.
Right? But he was still alive. And again, like, everybody had been there, of course, over the course of that week or two, you know, I mean, because everybody knew it was coming. And I went in there and I said, dude, I told you could go, man. Like what are you doing,
what are we doing here, man?
Yeah. I mean, God, at this point, like, what is it? Like, you got everything, man.
Yeah.
And, I go, I gotta go. I gotta shower, blah, 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 all this stuff. I'm like, but just take a nap, man. You're good. Or whatever I said. I don't know exactly what I said, but he died. I mean, I went back home, took a shower, fell asleep. By the time I woke back up, he was gone. But I mean, it's just so crazy, like how quickly, like, you could draw that thing out for fucking years. Mm-hmm. And then something snaps in your head and it's like, all right, I'm good. And then it's just like, all of a sudden it's like, but it is kind of pretty crazy. Like, your grandma had that conversation, like, is everybody, who's all coming, that sort of thing. Dude, if you don't think there's something else going on, you're out of your mind.
It's weird, man.
You're out of your mind. And I don't know, man.
Like, if you don't at least question there's something else going on, you've obviously never been in that kind of situation.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
I mean, look, my dad died in Montana.
Yeah.
Fishing. In a place that I would say it was probably as close to his heaven as you could probably get.
Yeah.
Besides being on his boat.
But that thing was getting worked on, so that wasn't happening.
Right. Right. Constantly. But, you know, I mean, there's beauty in that, I guess. You know, there's like, God damn, is there a better way to go? I mean, dude, like, of all
if you're
things,
gonna do it like
man,
that, you know?
Yeah. Like, did he know? I mean, obviously he'd taken that trip 20 some times over the course of the 15, 20 years, you know, but like, who knows? But that was just fucking weird, man. And we had told him we were moving out here.
Yeah.
Like the day before he left. Fucking haunts me, kind of, like, a little bit. Not haunts me, but it's just kind of weird. Like, we never had another conversation about it.
Yeah.
Like, the conversation we had was somewhat not harsh, but like, you know,
sharp.
Yeah, it was, and it was kind of out of the blue for him.
Yeah.
I guess more so, or even though he said,
well, maybe that was one of those things, like, kind of like the same thing. Like, he didn't, like, maybe it was like, you know, he didn't know, he didn't he didn't feel like he needed to,
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like,
it was weird.
He was like, my decisions aren't going to affect them anymore.
Right. He did say, like, in that conversation, I do remember him saying it's about time.
Yeah.
I remember that. Like, I was wondering when, or maybe something like that. I was wondering when you were going to go.
Yeah.
Because he knew how much I wanted to be close to the kids.
Yeah.
And do something he didn't.
Yeah.
I guess.
He knew you were going out there.
So, yeah, it was kind of weird. That part's weird. I don't know, man. I don't even know how we got to...
So do you believe in assisted suicide or not?
Yeah, so long story long. Yeah, I think I do. I do, and I'll tell you why. I do because I feel like a lot of people don't go out on their own terms when they are terminally ill, and it's because of the family.
Well,
we can argue that, I guess. But
I am for it, assuming there's stipulations.
In what regard?
If you are terminally ill and you can prove to me that, like, yeah, I have fucking stage 4 lung cancer. I have 3 months to live, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
We're good.
If
you go in there
absolutely.
at fucking 35 and you tell me that you're fucking depressed and you don't want to be here anymore, I'm gonna tell you to get fucking lost, bud.
So you don't think that that you should get a medical marijuana license in California? That's like what we're talking about here, because like that whole thing where you have to get
I don't
you have
think
to get
you
a card.
Should need a license.
Well, here no, but this is what you know what I mean. Like I'm drawing that parallel.
I can't sleep. Here you go. Here's weed.
Yeah, I can't see right.
Sometimes I don't like to eat breakfast. Here you go.
You're a doctor? Okay. Yeah. No, I get it. Like that, 100%. Like
the guy's wearing fucking tie dye. He's not a doctor. He's a Jill Biden doctor.
He's not a doctor, man. He's a Sherpa. There's it's a way different thing here.
He's blessed by an Eskimo medicine man.
Yeah, you can't be a self-appointed doctor.
You can't tell me you're a doctor when you're ripping the bong, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just like.
So that needs to be. So yeah, you have to. You 100% need to show medical history.
Yeah.
That you are terminally ill, and then at that point,
I think
yes,
I am almost as libertarian as someone can get. Like, I think that the government should play as small a role as possible in your life. There are two things where I struggle with that thought, though. And that's abortion and this assisted suicide. Because at that, if you're a true libertarian to the bone, you would say that they can't make a law that says I can't end my own life.
Can't do this or that, yeah.
Right? It's the same thing with the abortion. If you're a true libertarian, they shouldn't have a law that says that you can't have an abortion.
Fortunately, there's a lot of nuance.
But there's, especially in the abortion thing.
Oh, yeah, that's way
like,
big.
Come on.
Here's the problem. In a nutshell, for me. So I believe the same thing you believe in terms of how I feel. I'm very libertarian on that stuff, right? And in the case of there being as little government intervention as possible with stipulations. Because here's the problem with human beings. We all know this. There's a bunch of assholes. Yeah. And they will take things to the extremes. Yeah. So like in the abortion thing, it's like third term, late stage abortion, bananas. Abortion.
What about the fucking like the Minnesota law where like if they fuck it up late term and the baby's still birthed alive, they can just decide not to do anything with the baby and let it die.
Right. Which as a doctor you can't do because there's a little thing called the Hippocratic Oath. But okay, weird. Like that's pretty wild. On the other end, it also shouldn't be birth control, in my opinion.
What do you mean? Oh,
abortion shouldn't be
You're
birth
right.
control. So in my opinion, those are the two extremes, and that's what I'm talking about. That's where, in my opinion, the government comes in and says, okay, we're going to bring these goalposts from here, and we're going to bring them in just a little bit, and
let's center it.
And this over here and this over here. We're not doing it, okay? I get it. A lot of nuance, but it's kind of the same with the assisted suicide. Like, on the extreme side, on both extremes. You can't use it because you're a 29-year-old emo kid that thinks that they're fucking depressed and no one loves them. That's crazy. Get a fucking life.
Yeah.
On the other end of things, if you're terminally ill and you can prove it, 100%, I agree. Because in my opinion, and again, I base my opinion on anecdotal evidence, that I feel that those times that I've been around family that's died that I've seen, and I've seen that whole thing, I think there comes a point where the family intervenes way too much. And I totally understand. Yeah. That's their dad, their husband, their wife, their brother. I fucking get it, man. I get it.
Yeah.
But you have to take a step back and understand that that is not your life. It's theirs. Mm-hmm. And if you're holding on to that, that's your problem, not theirs. Be at peace, because they are.
Yeah.
On that level. And I think that there's too much family intervention on that end of it.
Agreed.
Because they're being greedy or selfish, and they want to hold on to as much of those hours, minutes, days as they have left, while that loved one is deteriorating in front of their fucking face, and they just don't see it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So it should be your choice.
Agreed.
With an asterisk, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a smart thing. But god dang, man, the fucking problem is that you have all these fucking people in these different states that will bring these all the way to the fucking farthest. They'll just go to the farthest extremes and be like, but you said that we could do it. It was on us. So then we gave them the ability to do this. And like, hold on a second, man. Like we didn't think you were going to murder kids either. Like when we gave this right back to you.
What is interesting about like the states that the assisted suicide is legal in, it also like seemingly coincides with states where like abortion's pretty legal in.
Yeah, I just don't. And what's weird to me is it's just not
the abortion assisted suicide. It is an interesting like correlation between the two, right?
People are dying, yeah,
because things are dying,
right? And then,
but
you get into that whole thing where when should someone die,
right? But this is the thing: like the terminally ill patient is going to die,
right?
If you would have just fucking put a condom on your dick. Yeah. Or made the dude put a condom on his dick. Do you know how many of those abortion numbers we could bring down?
Right.
95% of them.
Yeah. And I feel like as much as you say there is obviously a correlation as far as like the states, right? Right. And
just
roughly.
A correlation is the argument you could make of the my body, my choice thing.
Sure. Right. You're right. My body, my choice. Absolutely. Correlations there. One is you're allowing somebody to go out on their terms. And the other one is you're giving that right to somebody other than the person that has that right
to not come in on their terms.
Right.
Like weird, man.
You're preventing a life as opposed to letting someone that had lived their life.
Also, there's like the argument someone's going to make is you're still playing God on both sides.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're right. But I'm playing my own God. In one scenario.
True.
And I'm playing somebody else's God in another scenario, which is very different, in my opinion.
You're right.
Because I can choose to like go in my car and just drive, right? Or I can go get food, or I can go get more. Like I'm making those decisions on a daily basis, right? They benefit me. And I can fuck up decisions that also hurt me, right? But I'm the one that's making them for me alone.
Right.
Right. That's a fucking weird thing, man.
Those are slippery slopes.
Yeah. And remember when, so Assisted Suicide used to be real sexy. Like when Kevorkian was around.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing was,
Dr.
it was,
Death,
yeah.
Man.
But that's when like it kind of came to the forefront of everybody's brain. Right. everybody's like, what the fuck is this all about? And why would you do this? And why wouldn't you want to live? And it's like, yeah, man, that's the question that you're asking. You're really going to ask terminally ill patient why they don't want to live?
Yeah.
Like, you're not in their shoes, dipshit. Like, why would you, like, that's a weird thing. Like, okay, well, when you're terminally ill from cancer and you were dying, then I want to ask you the same question.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to fucking play this out?
You know what I'm thinking of now? There was a pretty good number of statistics that were like cardiovascular problems. So like, are you telling me that weird. Like a dude has had a couple of heart attacks and he keeps having heart attacks and he keeps having to have surgery and he's just like, I'm done.
The cardiac thing is weird because
you're not terminally ill.
You're not terminally ill. Now, if you need a heart transplant, you're not getting one. That might be a little, and and if you get off of,
it's getting slipperier.
But here's the thing: you get off those machines, and you can't be on your own. Like,
that's true. Like, at what point are you playing God the other way?
So here's my question there. Now they're going to break those up because that's considered terminally ill. Needing a transplant and you're on machines to make you live. That's terminally ill, right?
Sure.
In that arena, right? Or in that specific setup. Same with like kidney failure, organ failure. You're like, if you leave the hospital, you're dying. Like, you cannot function without stuff on you. Yeah. So even though they categorize it as the category is cardiac,
yeah,
right, and cancer. Well, so terminally ill cancer, you're probably living. You're like, living for a certain amount of time. Yeah. Like you know that or whatever. You have a
going about your daily life, though,
right?
Regardless of what that looks like, but
heart issues to the point that they are terminally ill.
Yeah.
Are like, if you flip that switch,
he's gone.
You're gone.
Right. Which is an interesting thing. Like I said, to their direction, right? Because like if you're on life support, where like if that switch goes off,
DNR,
you're dead. Mm-hmm. Are you playing God the other way because you're having a machine keep you alive?
Right. Who's that? But you're not the one that's making that decision. Generally, right. That's your family again.
Well, I guess, like, are you playing God? Because like, if God was going to come into it, he could just be like, you know what, that machine's going to malfunction right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a weird thing, man. I don't know. What the answer is.
That's what DNRs are.
Yeah, do not
right? Like, if you, and I don't know all the stipulations, but I know that when you're on machines and they go to take you off, I know there's a specific time, like if you're in a coma.
Yeah.
And the doctors have come to the conclusion that your brain function is going to run your body without these machines. That's what a DNR is for.
Yeah.
So you pull your breathing tubes and you pull that stuff, and then that person lives for X amount of time before they die. That's a DNR.
Yeah.
At some point, like, you have a conversation with the doctor saying, yeah, they don't have a DNR, but here's the situation. They're not coming back.
Yeah.
They are only alive because of those machines. Their brain function is this much.
Or zero.
Or zero. And then the family decides when to pull the switch, flip the switch or whatever. So,
well, yeah, because when you have machines pumping your blood and moving your lungs, that's not you living.
Nope.
I'd tell you right now, like, if it was me or my wife and kid, or I guess I would be for my mom, like, if I get to that hospital, whatever happens, and it's like no brain function, the machine's the only thing keeping it alive, you couldn't stop me from getting to that plug fast enough.
No. That is not how I want.
I'm not doing that.
No. Yeah, you're right.
I'm not prolonging this.
I mean, look, all you're doing...
You're being selfish.
In my opinion, all you're doing is prolonging your ability to mourn.
Yep.
You can only say goodbye once. You can't just keep going back every day and say,
It's different when they're like, it's different, and it's very weird when they're like, someone's in a deep coma but on life support, and they're like, their brain's firing though. Mm-hmm. That's a weird one. That's terrifying.
But I think also in that scenario, like, the doctors know if things are going good. If it's moving if you have forward momentum, meaning like more functionality is coming back in terms of your brain operating on.
You hear those stories like people been in coma for like 10 years and like they've respond like with a finger or something. And then one day they're just like, hey, I'm good. I woke up. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, they got to learn how to walk again, talk again, and read and write and do all that shit. It's fucking crazy,
Probably
man.
hungry as fuck.
Yeah.
If I ever go into a coma for a long period of time, when I wake up, there better be pizza by my side pretty quick, my man.
Yeah. It's very odd. Like, it's very odd. Like, and again, those are the nuanced things that, like, you know, we leave kind of in the hands of our
like
government on either a local
doctors,
state,
like, kind of like
or
to be interpreted as it goes kind of deal.
But I mean, what I mean by that is like if they're going to put that on as like a law or whatever, where you have like assisted suicide laws for pro assisted suicide, then you're leaving it in the hands of the government to write that law, to write all those things in. Yeah. And how much of that stuff gets left out, or how much of that stuff is left up to interpretation. Up to
interpretation is the thing there.
And then where does that water get muddy? Because I don't know the answers to that. I don't know those answers. Again, those like go back to the rhetorical questions that we don't know. But like, imagine the weight on somebody's shoulders to write those, to even get. I mean, who does that?
Who has to be the, like, do you have to sign up to be the doctor that like gives you the fucking button to press? Like, what about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, and then there's that whole thing. Do it like the whole
fucking firing squad? Well, like 4 people give you a fucking button and only one button works or something?
So like, the medical field has always fallen back to the Hippocratic Oath. Yeah. And what it means to do no harm. Mm-hmm. Because that is very much up for interpretation. Because are you doing more harm in somebody's eyes that you're keeping them going? Mm-hmm. And where does that end?
Yeah. Like where does the assisted suicide become the less harm?
Right. Yeah. The lesser of those two things. And I know for one, like, I'll argue about it and talk about it and stuff, but I sure as fuck don't want to be the one writing it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be in charge of that. I would not ever. And we've talked about this before, how much we would never want to be the president of the United States. Nope. It's, I mean, really weird parallel, but the same kind of thing. Like, I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to walk in and have them open up that book and be like, this is what no one knows except you right now. Yeah. These are the things that are on the front.
I don't want the fucking card with the fucking nuclear codes on it.
Right. Like, none of that. Like, it's not, because, and what I found so interesting, not at all to get back into politics, but like, and I think Rogan I'll go back to Rogan again because we listen to him so much, but he talked about how, like, you know, the only person that he says he hasn't seen age is Trump over the course of his, and it's true, because the dude has been under some sort of scrutiny. The most for sure, when he decided to do this. Yeah. But what I mean is, like, even before that, like his businesses, all those things that he was involved in, like all those things basically just kind of like morphed into this whole thing. Like, this is nothing more, like, it's not much more than what he's done before, just in a different light, like a different industry or whatever you want to call it. But like, he takes everything in stride, unlike anybody else in politics.
Fucking weird, man.
I mean, look at Obama aged like fucking, it looked like he aged 20 years.
I think Bush was the worst.
Bush was really bad.
Well, that's what happens when you lie to the American people and you tell them that we have fucking weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and then you get us into a couple wars we don't need to be in. Yeah. And you realize,
I mean, the only reason
taking a toll on you, my man.
Yeah. No, the only reson Clinton didn't is because he was getting his dick sucked by chicks
all the time.
Yeah, and probably drinking the blood of 20-year-olds or whatever.
Well, he was.
Infusions or whatever.
They had to be on their period. That was the thing.
No, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, he's like getting fucking, 20-year-old. And yeah, it's just like, but it's crazy to think about because every single one, dude, look at Biden. Biden looked like he should be in a fucking wheelchair, comatose, really. Yeah. And he looked like that sort of going into it, but like he hadn't really aged in like 30 years.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He looked like an old man when he went in. Now he looks like a fucking wax statue.
Right.
Like Madame Tussauds wax statue.
Like he doesn't know how to walk. Right. Like,
are you okay?
Like he's the only one watching that fucking butterfly fly around because it ain't there. Like that's what's so crazy. But that's what I mean. Like the amount, like you age, like radically.
Not Trump.
Not Trump. He just see that. You want to talk about looking better than ever?
Yeah, seriously.
He's just ripping, dude.
Oh god,
it's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
I want to talk about movie stumbles.
Movie stumble. Well, we did a little bit in the beginning.
Okay.
We movie stumbled for a while. Okay. That was I had a cool idea to like movie stumble, and we actually did it without even talking about it.
That's perfect.
Yeah. We did a little bit. Yeah. I want to do a whole podcast of just movie stumbles.
We will, definitely.
The next one, maybe.
Yeah, we will. Because there was another one I couldn't remember. You sent me... Oh, that's what you sent me.
Movie stumble, yeah.
I said I told you we need to talk about my body...
Deteriorating.
I do. It's so weird.
We got something to talk about in the next one. We'll movie stumble. We'll talk about your body deteriorating.
Yeah. So. God, that's crazy. We're going to have to find the facts on the percentages of if assisted suicide is part of the suicide.
It says it was driving suicide rates.
Oh, okay. So it is.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. I mean, that really is like putting
there has
gun
to be a separate
violence
category, though, right? Like you'd be like, this many suicides, this many were assisted.
Yeah, except that they don't say that.
Yeah, they don't ever do that.
Yeah. When they talk about gun violence, when they talk about gun deaths, they don't talk about police-involved shootings. They don't talk about suicides.
Yeah.
Because those are the two leading causes of that.
I mean, you can find them, but those numbers aren't published.
But they don't. No, they are.
Report.
They are published. But they're not talked about.
That's what I'm saying.
Like when you're talking about like political media,
when they put out the suicide rate report, they're not breaking down the suicides though.
No,
it's like the gun violence report.
Right.
They're not like,
because it's way more sexy to say the gun violence is up 40% or suicide rates up 30% or whatever than it was before. And then you go back and you're like, well, yeah, 4 more states introduced assisted suicide.
Right.
Fucking of course.
Yeah.
Like then it's like, okay, well, how many of those people were fucking deathly ill and they were getting the bump early? I mean, okay, man, fucking go for it.
Yeah.
You and God, baby. Let's do it. I would.
Do those affect the cancer rates too?
Well, they already have cancer, so yeah. Oh, death by cancer?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know. We could talk about that on the next podcast because let me tell you something. There's a whole big thing I got on bring it back to COVID.
Okay.
Like the numbers. Remember how the government was paying?
You got eaten by a shark and you had COVID at the same time. You died of COVID.
Died of COVID because they were getting paid $12,000 every
time you said it.
Right. Yeah. And I have actual...
This guy fell off a building. He had COVID, though. He died of COVID.
Have actual proof of it.
Oh, beautiful.
Actual proof. Yeah.
We'll leave you on that cliffhanger. Thanks for listening.
Have a good one.